Hey guys, thanks for listening to the Spiritual Grind. We hope you enjoy it, and don't forget to follow, hit the little bell for your notifications when the podcast is posted, and like, follow, and share with your friends. We hope you enjoy it. Leave a comment if there's any topics that you want us to speak about.
Like, follow, share.
Thank you very much, Dr. Jenny. Good morning, Dr. Jenny.
Good morning.
How are you today?
I'm hanging in there like a monkey.
Hanging in there like a loose tooth?
No, like a monkey.
Oh, on purpose?
On purpose.
Awesome. That's great. That's actually great. Wow. You're so spiritually awakened.
I'm ready to go bananas.
You're so spiritually awakened because you just rang the prelude to my topic of the day.
Of course. You seem surprised.
No, not surprised. You know what? I do want to say one thing, that when we started doing this, we were very nervous.
Yes.
And how much more comfortable are we now?
I feel like I'm pretty comfortable. I am not comfortable at the idea of making actual videos yet, but I'm embracing it.
Which is why we haven't started, because the energy is not right yet. We'll get there. We'll get there.
I agree.
Our intentions are clear, but speak of the devil.
Where is he? I want to meet him.
You want to meet him? You want to say hi? Shake his hand? He's an angel too,
Of course. That's what they say.
So we've always talked about beliefs. We've talked about clearing beliefs. We've talked about expectations. We've talked about many subjects. And once or twice in every one of these podcasts, we brought up, it depends on your intentions. And we have never done a podcast on intention setting.
Yeah, you got to be friends with the darkness so that you can embrace and allow the light.
Of course, you got to have a contrast. Do you know what you really want?
In walks the devil. Okay.
Sorry, was that creepy?
I mean, to some it might be.
Oh.
I'm used to your shenanigans.
But, we've never talked about intentions and how to clearly do them and how to make sure that your intentions are set and worded properly. And, we did a podcast on an intentional life, but we didn't even talk about in the podcast on how to do intentions, how to set your intentions for the day.
Okay.
And so I think that's our podcast topic of the day, is intentionally living.
Okay. We shall see.
With living with intent.
We shall see if that's where we go with it.
Right? You just never know with us. We get a little crazy sometimes.
You never know.
But anyway, so when we want to create our reality in a certain way, and we have looked at our beliefs, because you say this all the time to me, is you got to watch your wording, your verbology, as you call it. And when you're setting intentions, the way you word them can really muck up the system or limit that intention.
Right.
For example, we're going to talk about the elephant in the room everybody always talks about is finances. Everybody always wants to have, multi-million dollars in the bank. They have a financially free life. And they set their intentions, and then they go into action. And the problem is their intentions weren't worded right in their actions. There's multiple aspects to it, and I don't like to use the word the problem, but the reality is there's a lot of people that don't know how to do intentions and don't know how to live in a life with intent.
Okay.
And when we step into reality and we are trying to create.
Oui,
monsieur.
That's our French.
That's
for the day.
That's a redneck French. But when we get up in the morning, I do a couple of things where I set my intentions. First of all, I get up in the morning and tell myself I'm going to be happy, healthy, and whole. and today, and I am going to intentionally be happy.
So okay, so if we're going there,
Okay.
let me point out,
Okay.
if you're going to do it, just setting that intention in the manner that you just did, you'll never achieve it.
Thank you. You're right, because that's the word, that's the verbology that you were talking about.
The way that you set that sentence up actually keeps it in a future tense type energy that never lets you achieve it.
That is correct. Well, that's completely correct. And we as humans have a tendency to think that the word intention is a verb.
What is it?
It's not a verb.
What is it?
I believe it's a noun. It's a place. The result of your intention is a place or an action and so I think the word intention is more of a noun than a verb. The person, place, or thing, because you're intentionally making yourself a person a certain way. You're intentionally wanting to go do something, or you intentionally want to be somewhere.
Okay.
And so when we use intentions, you're right. Me saying in the morning, I'm going to be happy, healthy, and whole, I just put that intention in the future. Instead of saying I am happy, healthy, and whole in the mornings. And that's where the verbology of intentions come in.
Okay.
You got nothing?
We're done.
We're done? See you later. Am I supposed to start the music?
There you go.
We're done with the podcast? Okay, yeah.
I mean, there it is in a nutshell.
The shortest podcast ever. And so I think another faux pas that happens, and this would get brought up yesterday to me because you had a conversation with a lady day before yesterday, and we were talking about it yesterday of how did she go from what you had talked to her about to how she didn't know how to get to that spot. And I said, well, we got to live in
what spot
of whatever y'all talked about. She didn't disclose to me what y'all talked about, but she did, it's about intention. And that's what I told her. You have to live a life of intent. You intentionally do things and you set it up and trust your higher spirit to guide you through that process. And and I gave her kind of an example. I said, you don't wake up in the morning and say, I want to be this, because that is a futuristic, I'm going to do this. I'm allowing this to happen, because everything has to be in the present tense and directed.
Well, I mean, not everything.
Okay, please.
I'm receiving this now would be an appropriate way to state something.
Yeah.
So not everything, if we're going to be quite literal.
Okay.
Sometimes I am.
No, never. You're not liberal or assertive, either one.
Liberal?
Literal or assertive.
Assertive is not a bad thing.
No, I know. Clarity of words.
Okay, I don't know what that means.
Well, I wasn't saying it was a bad thing. It's just people don't like hearing the obvious stated to them, and you are very good at that. When they know inside of them what's going on.
Yeah, you come to me, I'm going to pull it out. If you're ready to rock and roll, we're going to do it.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah. And if they're coming to you, then they're in a spot already. So
yeah,
they're ready for that.
For sure.
And like this girl said yesterday, Jenny just told me everything that I already knew. She just made me hear it.
Listen, that's a brief little, we'll go on that little bifurcation segue. I don't teach anybody anything.
Right.
I am merely the channeled vehicle by which the information comes from that person's own higher self or guidance counsel. I just happen to be the vehicle that's chosen because it's a vibrational resonance with that person at that time, that they're able to hear what's already been coming to them in a manner that they can hear it.
You're just a Bluetooth.
I don't heal them.
Mm-mm.
I don't give them knowledge. I am just the conduit of the information when they're ready to receive it and accept it.
The Bluetooth speaker to the universe.
Maybe.
It's funny that I just brought up a thought. I remember when wireless speakers come out, and the first one was like very expensive, and they had it on Johnny Carson's show, and Johnny Carson was like, "How you going to get the sound from over there to over there? You can't do that without a wire." It's just funny. I don't know why that popped in my head.
Okay.
Anyway, so
one of the biggest trip ups that I hear people use on a constant basis, whether they're at level 1 of their awakening or 2 or 10, they will say, "I'm trying to do da 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 da."
right.
I'm trying to do it. I'm trying.
I'm trying really hard.
Trying.
I'm trying really hard.
And that is a huge trip up because, again, that is verbology that keeps it just out of grasp.
Yeah.
Just out of reach.
What marries with intentions, I find a lot, is people's purpose.
Who's Mary?
Well, Peter and Paul. Sorry.
What comes to my mind is Mary Had a Little Lamb. I'm so tired of hearing that song.
It's the only song she's learned so far on the cello. And when you're learning a musical instrument, you have to play the one you know before you're done because it makes you feel good.
Right.
But so people have a tendency to marry intention with purpose, and to be very clear, your purpose is your purpose. Everybody has their purpose, whatever that is. We don't know. Some people don't know what their purpose is, and I think they'll understand it more the more they awaken. But they have an idea in their head of what their purpose is, and when they have this idea in their head, they have a tendency to set intentions towards that purpose, which is the exact, in my opinion, and I'm sure Dr. Jenny's going to ring in on this, in my opinion, is the exact opposite of what you're supposed to do. Because your purpose is your purpose. Your intentions are your daily reality. And it can be long-term reality. And, you can say, when I am 50, I am going to own a Maserati. Or I will own a Maserati when I'm 50.
And that is defined by you as what? An intention?
As an intention.
I see.
Now, if that Maserati is part of your purpose because you want to own a Maserati because you're going to have a rental car business, then I think that intention is set for the wrong thing. Do you understand where I'm going with that?
Not at all.
So, well, I just want to make sure that we understand that defining purpose and defining intentions are two different directions. It's a bifurcation.
Okay, so define it for us.
Setting intentions are a purposeful way to create your reality in the present. Your purpose is something that is evolving and changing sometimes. And when you set intentions towards a purpose, you have no idea. Your purpose may change down the road. And so now you've set intentions towards a purpose that may change.
Okay.
And so when we set our intentions, we have to do it for what we want currently and work towards the purpose that we have, but not using the intentions to drive ourselves towards the purpose.
So what's the difference between an intention and a goal, for example?
Well, a goal is something that you never attain because it's a goal. I'm going to get to this spot. Okay, my goal is to do this. My goal is to do that. It's an is-to thing. Having goals are just something, don't get me wrong, it's great to achieve goals and it's great to push towards goals, but when you're going to a goal, you're going to that goal always.
Well, you just said it feels good to achieve goals, so you're not always going to goals. At some point, obviously, you reach your goal.
Yes, I agree.
A little bit of a contradiction.
Well, no, it's not a contradiction. I want to make sure I'm very clear because
you're not being very clear. That's why I'm calling you out.
Where's
your ring button?
Well, I'm not ringing. So what I want to say is this: is it does feel good to achieve goals, but I don't think I've ever achieved a goal and just stopped there. And that normally means that we have either A, set our goal to a lower level, that is easily attainable.
Not a bad idea.
It's not a bad idea if you're working through some personal issues with confidence.
It's baby steps.
Okay. Please elaborate.
Well, to set smaller goals that are achievable builds belief, trust, confidence in getting to a bigger goal.
Okay.
So, I mean, having a small goal, I don't think is a negative or a bad thing. I think it's a good baby steps at a time kind of thing to get to the bigger thing that you want to achieve.
Okay. So when I used to do lecturing on goal setting,
Okay.
when we would set a goal, we would put landmarks, so to speak, throughout that goal.
Okay.
That is, my goal is this, and by this date, I want this part, or I will have this part achieved. By this date, I will have this part achieved. So you're right. You're doing little baby steps and achieving those little timeline of events, and you're achieving those.
Yeah.
But when you make yourself a goal and you set your intentions to meet these spots, then each one of these is a confidence builder. But the goal is the end result. And so each one of these is a stage.
Each one of them is a goal.
Okay. Okay.
They're just small little goals.
Okay.
My question was, though, what's the difference between setting goals and setting intentions? I was just curious. What is the difference?
Are you like fishing me here?
No,
Because I know
no.
you know that's the answer.
No, I'm not
I
fishing
think you're
you.
fishing me.
I didn't
I
even
think you're
bring
setting me up here so you can slap me.
I didn't even bring a fishing pole.
I feel like this is a
wanna
setup
know,
question.
No, I'm just asking what is the difference between setting an intention and setting a goal? People want to know.
Setting a goal is a human thing. Intention is for something to create your reality within. Why
Does a goal not create a reality?
Well, it can. It can help. But so here's an example. I want to get the highest paying job in my company. That's my goal. I want to have the highest paying job in my company.
Okay.
And so I go to work. I set my goals, my mini goals, as you call it, towards that.
Okay.
And when I get up in the morning, 6 months later, I now have this job. I have achieved my goal.
Okay.
And in the process of all that, you buy a new house, you buy a new car, you're doing all these things because you're making the more money you ever have in your life. You're creating your reality at the same time outside of that goal.
Right.
And so your intentions along the way was, oh man, when I get this level, I'm going to go buy a new house.
That's not a goal.
No, you're setting your intention within the goal. I think your intentions are the steps of the goal. This podcast is not going the way I imagined it at all. And I think sometimes Jenny does this to me on purpose because she tries to make me look like a fool.
No, not at all.
And
I'm getting clarification.
Excuse me, higher self. Can you fix this, please? Higher self, are you listening?
Where's the door knocking button?
I know, right?
Is anybody home?
Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. I feel like I'm pulling teeth here. I don't know
Wasabi.
why. I feel like this. I'm at the dentist office and somebody's yanking my teeth out right now. Because Jenny is just not opening the door to jump in here like she normally does. She is refraining it. I can see it in her energy, and she's doing it on purpose. So whatever you all, I'm not being mean. I see her energy, and I see what she's doing. She's capping the little thing off on top of her head on purpose, just so she can get me later.
No, that's not at all what I'm doing.
I see it.
I am cleaning up some confusion around the verbology.
Okay.
We create different definitions, and sometimes creating separate and different definitions can jam us up. And so I am wanting to clean that up a little bit, because there is no difference between setting a goal and setting an intention. They're one of the same. It's just that when you are at kindergarten level or first grade level in your awakening process, you call them goals. And when you get to a spiritually higher level, then we choose a new word that has a different persona, and we call them intentions because I guess spiritually it sounds better. They're the same thing.
So you just proved my point. You were
And that
you were fishing me because you had the answer right there. You're in your mouth, and then you're just like, okay, yeah, please elaborate. Yeah, come on, give it to me.
I just wanted to get clear on what the collective perspective. Collective perspective. Collective perspective.
Okay, then.
Was about those two words. We can clean it up a little bit.
Okay, you just did. Thank you.
And
in the podcast,
big goals and little goals are it's all the same thing.
Okay, please elaborate.
Well, so you go through life creating your own reality. You experience the variety of life called contrast.
Spicy.
Positive contrast, negative contrast, so that you can pick up the menu of life and decide, I liked this part of it, this part of it, this part of it, but I didn't necessarily care for this. So when I make my new order to have an experience, I'm going to set the intention or define the goal that I would like to have this similar experience, but I want to have it with meat and cheese and ketchup only. So goals and intentions are the same thing.
Okay.
Just to be clear. And baby goals and large goals are the same thing. It's just a technique or a permission slip that gets you motivated and off your butt to get something accomplished in a certain trajectory on a certain topic.
Okay.
And you're constantly, simultaneously creating goals or intentions on many different topics all at the same time, because life is divided into many different topics.
I hear it's a highway. Life is a highway.
Life is actually many highways going in many different directions all at the same time.
Some are country roads, some are highways.
And so there is no really difference in the two.
Okay.
They're one and the same as I'm getting it now.
Okay. So how do we clearly set intentions?
Well, you want to set them in the now. So there's two. Okay. So there's two different ways to go about it.
Okay.
Okay. So you have a future tense intention that you're setting, because you have a goal that is what you perceive to be bigger than what you can instantaneously manifest. Here's the break it down part. If you didn't have a belief pattern or program that was in place that keeps you from saying, okay, I want this, and snap, I'm going to bring it into reality right now, then you would not need intentions or goals.
Okay.
So, because you have that in place, and there's another mechanism in that, we're not quite ready as a species to have instantaneous creation, because we're tweaking our abilities to do that and it be exactly what we wanted.
Okay.
Because sometimes it's nice to think, oh, you know what? I'd like to have that. And if it instantaneously was created, then you say, ooh, I don't really like that part of it. Erase, 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 erase. And so sometimes the lag time in the creation of it is allowing you to get clear and give you the opportunity to come to that realization of, okay, yeah, I thought initially I wanted this, this, and this, but this part of it, I've changed my mind and I don't really want.
Okay.
So, as an evolutionary species, that lag time sometimes in having the creation come in instantaneously is a great benefit. So, when you're setting your intentions, there are two different kinds. And I'm going to use intention and goal interchangeably.
Okay.
Setting the goal or the intention is you have the ones that you set in the future tense because you have a belief or pattern or program in place that says, wow, that's a really big goal. And I am not at a place yet where I feel like I can make this happen right now.
Okay.
And this is something I want to put in place because I'd like to see it happen. And I want it to come into my reality. So I'm going to set it out there and let it kind of boil and marinate.
Okay.
Then there are those components, which are your action plan of how to get from where you are now to that goal.
Okay.
And those are little mini goals or mini intentions.
Okay.
If you want to be happy, for example, then that's a for most people, it can be a very attainable thing. And so you will want to, when you're ready to have it now, then you will get to a place and actually it'll happen naturally by the way the mechanism works.
Okay.
You'll want to retrain the habits of getting up in the morning, looking at yourself in the mirror and saying, I am happy now.
Okay.
And at first, if you're not really happy, it'll feel like kind of a lie. It'll feel like a mistruth. But you have to remember, you're retraining a habit.
Okay.
You're retraining your initial thought process so that you have a different habit.
Okay.
If let's take a different example. If you get up every morning and your habit is to go have a cup of coffee, smoke a cigarette, have some chit chat, and then take a shower, get dressed.
Are you talking about a left-handed cigarette?
I don't know what that is.
Left-handed cigarette? That's that one that smells funny.
Oh, I never knew it was called that. I smoke with both hands, so. Okay. I was today years old when I learned what a left-handed cigarette is.
That's funny.
Why is it called a left-handed cigarette?
I don't know. That's what back in the day, that's what they called it.
I mean, what if you're left-handed? Is it called a right-handed cigarette?
Well, I guess it depends if you're thinking in your left brain.
That's another podcast.
That is another podcast.
So you are going to set intentions or goals in both manners. Okay. And they're both beneficial to some extent based on where you are in your beliefs, patterns, and programs. Mm-hmm. So they both serve a purpose.
Yep.
What it's going to do when you set that long-term goal, because you have a belief that it can't come into play yet, or by design, you're just not ready for the whole manifestation to happen.
The whole what?
Manifestation.
Okay.
My tongue got a little in the way. I tripped on my new tongue. They have them on sale at Walmart.
It sounded like you said manifesting.
I don't know. I just know I stumbled over my tongue.
That's funny.
I bought it on sale, so it may not be quite the fit.
Buy one, get one free.
Yeah, at Walmart on that little sale kiosk thing.
And the clearance aisle.
Clearance aisle. Oh, look, a new tongue. Only $1.50.
Hey, $1.50. Buy one, get one free. I got a coupon. I got half off.
Look, they have multicolored.
That's funny.
And so, like the example I used, if you're wanting to work on your mental perspective of yourself, it is, the sigh. There's the sigh.
There's the sigh.
It is a good idea to set your intentions on the having it now. Set them in the present tense. Even your goals, set them in the present tense because you don't want them to hang out in the future forever.
Okay.
And so even when you write them down, I want to be a doctor. I am a doctor. What it does, it's okay to write it down in the future tense to get it out. But then start writing it in the present tense because what that will do is it will begin to help you embrace the concept of being the doctor.
Okay.
Finding that energy. And there's some other techniques that you'll do along with it because if you're just verbally wording it, playing the little verbology game, that's not going to get you there. For most people, it's a start, it is, but it's not going to get you there. And so, the mechanism, what will happen is when you set that intention, it's going to bubble up beliefs, patterns, and programs that are not beneficial to get you
where you want to go,
that place where you want to go.
Okay.
And it gives you the opportunity for them to come up. You get to kind of figure out why they're there. How did they get there? Am I ready to get them moved on, dissolved, redefined, reprogrammed so that you can clean up your vibration so that you can align with the reality that you basically have created that's sitting here in your little virtual queue, so to speak, because you don't manifest and you're not like, it's not like childbirth where you set a goal and now you've got to breathe and push through it to give birth.
That's the end sound.
To this concept through challenges and trials and tribulations and Lamaze class. It's not like that.
Okay.
You create the concept of what you would like to experience next. Your higher self takes that idea and holds on to it and begins to design it exactly the way that is magnificent. Whether you let it in the way that it was designed or you let it in a little bit more mucky perspective is based on your beliefs, patterns, and programs.
Okay.
So you're aligning with the energy of that reality that's already created and it's sitting here in your queue waiting for you to step into it and begin to live that lifestyle or that thing or have that thing.
Now, what about the intention trap?
Do tell.
The trap of when we set intentions and then we have an expectation that it's supposed to look a certain way and we're not open enough to allow it to come into how spirit brings it in.
Yeah.
And we have a tendency, at least I did, I learned this a long time ago and I learned it from you, by the way, is when you set an intention and you are going through your daily life, you have to be open and receptive to whatever that looks like.
Well, yeah, your clay of life has to be malleable. It has to be reformable. You can't bake it off yet. We have sculpting class today. I thought I would chime in with that.
I caught the side smirk over there. She was making the sculpting class.
So whenever you're building your daydream, so to speak, and creating that next thing that you want to experience, you're going to create, because your human mind only has a certain level of ability to create this thing that you would like to experience on a low level. It doesn't conceptually have the ability to take it to that divine, miraculous serendipity place. That's higher self's job. Mm-hmm. It's not even the mind's job.
Right.
If you can just put your brain around that you're going to take it to the level by which you have the ability to do through your daydream.
Okay.
But then release it and don't insist or expect it to turn out exactly the way that your daydream went. And if it's not turning out that way, immediately go into that place of, okay, something's wrong. It doesn't look the way I had it built in my daydream. Relax into it and let it manifest into the magnificent version, so to speak, of what's set up for you.
Well, that's
Being
completely
insistent that it has to look the way that your daydream looked or the way that you've created it in your head is a very, very limiting place to be, because your physical mind doesn't have the capacity to even daydream to that 11th dimensional, 20th dimensional level. It just doesn't have that ability. It wasn't designed to have that ability.
Right.
That's not its job.
Okay.
Its job is to perceive what it receives from the brain mechanism.
Okay. So I totally agree with what you said. And I think that's the part of it that I struggled with, was allowing life to happen as it's supposed to. When you set your intentions, you move towards your intentional living. And when it kind of throws you a little bifurcation in there that's away from what your expectations are, and if you battle it, then that just slows the intention down.
Yeah, and the biggest trip up that I find when working with people is the concept of the time-space continuum.
Yeah.
What I mean by that is, oh, gosh, it's been 30 days. Why isn't this happening? I need it now. And getting tripped up with the time span is something people battle with often because they want it now.
Right.
But you've got to get to a place where the reason it's not coming in is because it gives you an opportunity to look at it. Why is it not coming yet?
Right.
What beliefs, patterns, or programs do I have in place that are not letting it come in yet? Why am I perceiving myself as not being ready to accept it? Is it because I have an underlying belief that I am not deserving of it? Am I seeing it that I'm not worthy of something this big and this ostentatious? Do I have a view that what I'm daydreaming is so big that it's unattainable? Like a good example of that would be somebody who wants to increase their money flow and they daydream about winning the multi-million-dollar lottery because to them, $5 million is a lot of money. If it's too much money that they can't conceptually wrap their head around,
because their beliefs are in the way,
then they'll keep it
in the future.
And it won't come.
Yeah, that's completely right.
And so you have to look at the opportunity you're being given to dive a little deeper in why the time part of it is not happening and why it's bugging you.
Because if your intentions are coming true, it is definitely 100% your belief system.
Yeah, or habit, pattern, program. It's something of that mechanism.
You know, when I was in high school, I did this personal development class. And then the first day of that personal development
You said it so ominously, like it was.
No, it wasn't ominous. It was actually a really good class. The very first day of that class, the teacher said,
"Take a bath.
Here's a blank check for you. You're going to write yourself $1 million check.
Yeah.
And you're going to take that check with you for the rest of your life until you can cash it." And that was a mistake.
Why?
Because I cashed that $1 million check, but it could have been a $30 million check, and I screwed that up. Why didn't I write it for $30 million?
You just weren't there yet.
You weren't,
30 million seemed like an unachievable thing, and you weren't there yet.
Right. Well, that's exactly what I'm getting into, to the point of, is when you do intentions, they need to be clear and concise and open. And you can write yourself $1 million check, that's fine, but write yourself a $5 million check, a $10 million check, a $20 million check, and keep all of those.
Yeah.
And allow it to be open and receptive.
Write that $1 million check. And when you achieve that, then write the next number, write the next number,
Yep.
write the next number.
Yep.
Those are the baby goals or the baby steps to getting to the bigger one.
Totally agree.
That is a good game to play with it when you're setting intentions or goals, is especially around money.
Yeah.
And writing yourself a check. And
Would you quit holding that cat down? Golly, let her go. Just kidding.
she needs her own microphone.
She does. She needs
Can
something.
you imagine putting headphones on her and putting her in front of the microphone?
Well, she definitely gets on the mic every week.
Yeah, so she likes to come in the office because it's very quiet and tranquil. And she'll spend the day in here just kind of lounging. Like this is her calm space. So in the mornings or when we come in to do a podcast, I always have to trick her to get her out because she likes to get up here and walk around on
Push buttons. Like she's sitting there one day and recorded an 8.5 hour podcast because she hit the record button on the mixer board. It's sitting there and recorded her all day.
Right. Or she likes to get up here and sit with me.
Rub on the mic.
Get in the way of the microphone. So we have to send her away.
Yeah. It's pretty funny.
But the editor, I'm sure, will cut that out. And
yeah, I don't know.
Probably won't hear it.
She's got it down some. I don't think she's got it completely eliminated yet, but she's getting there.
Yeah.
Because she has to be able to isolate that sound by having that sound clearly and freely.
Yeah.
And then she can set
So if you do hear that sound, no one is killing the cat. she's pitching a fit at the door because she wants to come in.
And when she gets mad, she has feline vestibularitis. And so when she gets mad, it works her skin to where she has that jumping skin syndrome.
Yeah.
And it makes her chase her own tail. And she's like,
she's our little
she gets really grouchy.
Little disabled cat. It's all good though.
But back on to the intention setting, I think we have kind of came across the major parts of that. And one is when we set our intentions, we got to be clear and concise. They have to be free of expectation. And they have to be, as you say, mini attainable along the way.
Yeah, and it's like anything else. The more often that you do them and do them from a conscious place, the better you'll get at them.
Yes.
So don't be too hard on yourself.
Practice it. Just practice it. And I think the last part of it that you taught me about intentions a long time ago was to be open to the result without a complete vision of what you think it should look like. And I think the openness is which it kind of marries in all the rest of them together. But the openness for me was different because I had to allow the ultimate intention goal, whatever that is, at the end of in my reality to be however it looked. And
right. Because you remember this as you go about your day. Your higher self stays in that spiritual state and knows exactly what you intended to come here and learn and grow from.
Yeah.
So your higher self knows how to beautifully choreography put together the next thing that you want to experience.
Yeah.
You setting a goal or an intention is just your way of saying to the higher self, the universe, your guides, okay, listen, I'm ready for the next thing.
Yeah.
I'm ready for the next thing. And then it will be put together on a level that is huge.
Yeah. Well, she is getting worked up.
I tell you, she is. And then your higher self and your counsel will help you begin to work through those beliefs, patterns, and programs and bring them to the surface as you're ready to look at them. That's what growth and evolution really looks like. So you'll get that inspirational thought of, okay, I am setting my intention in this way of I am trying to clear beliefs around this topic. Then what'll happen is you'll get things cleared up. You'll get more comfortable making the intentions, and then one day you'll be like, I am trying to get this belief cleared, and it'll ring your bell, and you'll be like, oh, you know what? I can say that better.
Yeah.
Because you've grown past
and you become practiced at it. Yeah.
it will happen naturally.
Yeah.
If you're aware of working with the system. So don't be too hard on, oh, I shouldn't have said it that way. Now it's not going to work. Rats.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't happen that way.
Right.
You're practicing each given moment. And as you evolve into the next level, it'll naturally happen. You'll say something and you'll say, oh, you know what? I can clean that up.
I said that wrong. Yeah.
And I can make that a little better. So you know what? I'm clearing that belief now.
Let me rephrase that.
And you'll rephrase that sentence or that goal, if you will, and then you'll get to a place where you're like, oh, I can make that even better.
Yep.
For example, we'll go back to the money one for a second. I'm trying to manifest money. That might be the elementary level. Then you say, I am manifesting money now. Then what will happen next is I want to manifest $100,000 by the end of this year, 2025, through the means of writing a book.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll just become more and more advanced in how you're creating that goal or that intention. Then the next level might be that you leave the money part of it a little more open-ended. And you say, I am writing a book now, and it is going to bring me the monetary abundance that is in divine flow for me. Right. And then just trusting that number is going to be incredibly ostentatious and out there,
right,
as big as you can possibly imagine. That's just how the setting of the intention or the goal works. Right. And you grow into it in each step that you take, because you're teaching yourself to be more and more in alignment with the receiving of the vibrational frequency of letting your cup be bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger to the extent of getting to a place where $1 million is not such a big number that it's unattainable.
Right. Yeah. Totally agree.
Because if you back it up just a little bit of where you are, $50 is, we'll go even less than that. $20 is pretty attainable. Mm-hmm. Most people make $15 to $20 an hour. You could go to your job, work an hour, and poof,
you have
$20.
Yeah.
Or you could be walking down the street and find a $20 bill. So setting an intention that you're going to find a $20 bill today somehow, some way, might be a fun way to start, because $20 or 10 or 5 or a free cup of coffee, wherever you're at on that, start playing with it.
Yeah, I agree.
Because we are still a certain level in the collective of a seeing it is believing it mentality. Mm-hmm. So if you're still there to where you can't just believe it without seeing it, you'll put in place or can put in place some things that will validate it for you. And so, start playing with it. I intend to receive a cup of coffee today. I don't care where, I don't care how, and I want it to be free.
Yeah.
I need it to be free.
Yep.
Start baby steps. And then as you evolve, your intentions will get a little more intricate and concise, but at the same time, a little more relaxed and open.
Yes.
It's kind of fun the way that it happens.
Right. And I want to close on the last part of the intention that I think is a big trap as well, is for some reason in the spiritual world, for many years, now you may have a different opinion of this, but for many years, it felt like that people thought just setting intentions didn't require any human action.
Ooh, yeah, good one. Oh, I've set my intention. I can just sit here on my...
I'm going to sit on my laurels and wait for the world to give me something.
Whoever Laurel is.
I know, right?
Poor her.
I know.
She must be flat as a pancake now.
And so you have to be open to the action. Just set the intention and be open to the things that you are moved to do.
That's right. Yeah.
Because we are on this in this dimension on this planet to have experiences, and part of those experiences are the actions behind our intentions.
Yeah. So if you get that inspired thought to go and do something, just know that that's an inspired action that you're being moved to take. And if you don't take it, then you're sending the message out to your counsel, your higher self, the universe that, okay, well, I'm not really ready to take action for whatever reason, or it'll be viewed as, okay, she's not going to take action. So then we're just not gonna.
Right. Because this is where it gets confused. Is this world and this universe owes you nothing. They've already given you everything. And it's your job to go live it. And when you have an intention that's set out there, because this happens to us all the time. We have a goal or intention that we've set out there, and for some reason on a Friday or Saturday, we'll be like, hey, let's go do this. And we have no idea because of what's going to go on during that time. But yet there always seems to be something that happens that marries into our intention.
Yeah, or the intention changes completely.
Opposite. Yeah, it can be completely opposite of what we said.
Right.
And we have no idea. You know, like that time we went to the show in Tampa. We ended up meeting 4 or 5 people in the spiritual world, and we were just going to a home show.
Yes.
And then we ended up talking with them, and then we ended up going to an expo, yada yada yada. Make a long story short, is you have to be open to your motivated actions. If you feel motivated to do something, go do it.
Yeah.
Because it could be somehow 19 dimensionals away related to your intention that you set.
And it's not a could be.
Yeah.
It is.
It is. Yeah.
It is intertwined with divine flow and divine guidance.
And when you go on those action journeys, make sure you are open-minded, even to the homeless guy walking up to you on the street to say something to you, or just a random person in the elevator makes a comment. Listen, pay attention to your reality.
Yeah. I mean, and as you evolve, if you can get to a place where you go set out to do your errands or your tasks, or you're going to go do a movie, if your journey changes to where you didn't get to the movie, look at it from not a place of, oh my God, traffic was so bad, I missed the movie. Look at it from a place of, okay, there's obviously a divine flow going on here, and I am going to experience something.
And I'm humanly going to get mad at the traffic because I'm late. I'm going to get road rage. I'm going to honk my horn 1 million times. I'm going to slam on the brakes a lot and speed up real fast.
Yeah, that's not really probably the best way to go about it. The best way would be to say, okay, you know what? This is happening for a reason.
Yeah.
And I am very excited and curious to see where this journey is actually going to take me.
Yeah, it's like when we went to watch that
Not
show.
Not having expectation and insistent that it must look that way.
Right.
Because I can't tell you how many times we've set out to go do a list of things we want to get done.
Right.
And the list doesn't get done at all, but we still end up on an amazing journey that we didn't even...
Like I can give you an example
imagine.
For us is, when that movie Wicked came out, we kept trying to go see it and we could never get seats.
Yeah.
And we just kept on trying instead of just saying, okay, higher self, we obviously are not supposed to go see this movie. I get it. Understand. Thank you, Spirit, for showing me that and move on. No, what happens? James goes ahead and buys the tickets. We go to watch the movie and we both walk away from it saying, that movie was not good.
It wasn't the best movie, and I could have waited to see it at home.
At home instead of paying for movie theater tickets.
But the food was exceptional.
Yeah, the food was good, but the movie irritated me when we left, and they find out because they don't tell you there's a part 2 to it. They just throw it out there, and it's not to mention it's long and it's got very awkward.
Negative Nancy. That's
awkward things.
That's enough.
But anyway,
don't give it away. Spoiler alert. Some people may enjoy it,
but the
nonetheless,
point of it is I didn't pay attention to the we set the intention to go watch a movie. We didn't say that we were going to go watch Wicked.
Yeah.
We looked and see what was playing, and we were like, "Oh, Wicked! Let's go look at it," because we seen the advertisements for it. Let's go watch that. And then we could never get seats, but I didn't listen to my higher self saying, "You might want to find a different movie."
Yeah.
And then when we did go, we were late because of traffic. That's where this scenario comes from. I mean, we left like an hour and a half early, and because of traffic, we couldn't. Then we were like, we
couldn't find a parking spot.
Couldn't find a parking place. And
it was crazy.
It was insanity.
And then we got there, and so we go to a
it's called Sunny Bistro in Hyde Park.
It's like a movie eat place.
Yeah,
so
you sit
get
down,
to eat while you're
you.
watching your movie. It's very, very cool, and the food is absolutely amazing. But you order, if you get there in time, you order in your seat that you're going to watch the movie from.
And they have little swing out tables.
We showed up tardy, and we had to order our food at the window.
We basically had to serve ourselves. And then the movie was what 3 hours long?
You got
it was
little
like really
aggravated.
I did get aggravated. I was aggravated at the whole freaking scenario because I didn't listen to my higher self, and I didn't realize it till after the movie. Like, oh,
I was like,
I get it.
Okay, well, being aggravated is not going to help.
Because that's never happened with us before. That.
Oh, it has.
I mean, going to Sunny Bistro. Going to Sunny Bistro.
Oh, this is true. Yeah.
And so it caught me off guard because I wasn't open to seeing the signs. Signs everywhere. The signs. Right. It was ridiculous. It was totally ridiculous. Really, I did that. That was my fault. But because I wasn't open to the.
It's not really a fault thing.
I know what I'm saying.
What did it allow you to be able to see and look at, though, or remind you about in your process?
Oh, to be open to and receptive to the signs of the things when you set your intention to do something, to be open and receptive.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good segue into this quick comment that sometimes when you set an intention, if it's not something that is truly in alignment with what you want to experience, higher self will help you along that not to experience it. And so you got to read those signs as well.
Yeah, I agree.
Either it's just not time, or higher self knows that if you go and see this particular production, it's not going to be a pleasurable experience. And so sometimes higher self
will throw all sorts of roadblocks in your way.
Right. Puts things in motion to keep you from going in that direction. And so sometimes you want to look at it from that perspective as well. If it seems just not in flow. It's just not in flow. Yeah. You'll get to a point where you can tell the difference.
Yeah.
Then coming to that place of, okay, you know what? We're all good. I must not supposed to be doing this right now, or maybe even at all. And so I'm going to let it alone. And if I'm supposed to be doing it, it'll come back around when it's time or when I'm supposed to be doing it.
Yep. Totally right. Well, I feel complete. Do you feel complete?
I'm good.
Okay. Hey guys, thank you all for listening. We appreciate you paying attention to the spiritual grind. And don't forget to look us up on our social media, because that's where it's at. You may actually find some videos of us on there at the Merch Centers. And our website is www.themerchcenters.org. And don't forget to like, follow, and share. And don't forget to what, Mamo?
Ring that bell.
We appreciate you guys. Have an awesome day. What do you?
Love you.
Oh my gosh, what happened there?
Well, you normally say the little hashtag thing, and I was waiting for that. Oh, okay. I didn't hear it.
So it's okay.
Love you.
Have a good day.